Hey, this is Mike. This is my in the bag. First off, to start with my bag, I have a Dynamic Disc Ranger bag, blue, that I got for my birthday last year. And I want to see my discs are set up from the most. It's all set up in speed, so starting with a 14 or 15 speed, all the way down to my mid-range and putters. So to start with, I throw backhand and sidearm, so I'm pretty versatile when it comes to having different shots in my bag. I have a lot of different molds because I can throw both sidearm and backhand. Start off with my first disc is 15 speed Latitude 64 Opto-Hex Michelin. Now this disc is super fast. Michelin stands for missile in Swedish, and they definitely got the name right on that. This disc I throw sidearm, and it's kind of an odd disc because this disc is high speed, understable, low speed, overstable, which is unlike any other disc, especially one with a rim this big, this beefy. So when I throw it sidearm, it banks off to the left, super fast. So if I have a tunnel shot that I need to get through real fast, I'll throw that. And then low speed, it will break like it's an overstable driver, like it would be like a Bolt or a Halo or something like that. So this 15 speed in my bag is a must. Next, another disc that I can throw both. This disc this is a Bolt, Latitude 64 Opto Bolt. I can throw. It's a 13 speed. I throw it sidearm and backhand. It's enough overstable that I can actually get a good rip on it. Pop up straight, fly forever, and come down. And I can also throw a sidearm, get a long straight shot out of it, and then a fade to the right. So that's an Opto Bolt. Next, another sidearm disc. This is like my go-to sidearm disc. When I need to go about 350 feet, this is an Latitude 64 Opto Scythe. This disc is money. I believe it's a 12 speed. Could be wrong, maybe 11, but it is fast, flat, just goes straight, bank to the right, consistent. If I need a big hyzer, I go with this. This is sidearm only, unless I need one of those big hyzers that I know is going to break and end up exactly where I want, hopefully under the basket. Okay, next in my bag I have 11 speed. This flow, strictly I throw this thing backhand. This is a Latitude 64 gold line flow. It's really pretty. It actually got lava shift coloring throughout. This disc, super straight. It almost fades straight. It goes exactly where I want it to go. I swear this thing knows exactly where the basket is every time. Just pop it out with a slight hyzer, comes up straight, and just a teeny bit of fade to the left there. And this any long straight shot, this is the disc for me. Next, something new in my bag. This is a Westside disc VIP Northman. 10 speed, slightly understable, good glide, really straight, a little domey, not too much. I've only thrown it maybe 3 or 4 times, just basically end up straight with slight fade. And I like to throw backhand like in the 9, 10, 11 numbers you'll see through my bag here, because that's I throw about 350 max, and so this disc I can get max distance out of it without a lot of force on my disc. So I'm gonna give this a try and see if it stays in my bag. Next, sidearm only, Dynamic Disc Lucid Felon. This thing is like a must in everyone's bag, even if you don't sidearm. It's a 9 speed, 4 fade, so it's got a good hyzer route. But this I think can sidearm 300 feet, and if you're looking for that skip ace or you need that big skip at the end, to end up into the woods, into the basket, this Felon is money right here. Next, this is pretty much my go-to driver. Latitude 64 Gold Line Saint. It's the oldest Trilogy disc in my bag. 171. I usually stay around 171, 172 on the grams. This Saint is basically goes wherever I want it to go. If I want it to go right, I want it to go left, I want it to go straight, and usually that's where I want it to go. Boom, it's there. So kind of a smaller rim, not too big of a rim, but this thing is straight, fast, and most shots this is what I pull out first before I decide something else. Saint. Next in my bag, Dynamic Disc Fusion Escape. Now I do have a lot of discs that are very similar in flight paths. Like a lot of people say the Saint and Escape are really close. I find my Escape right now to be a little more overstable than my Saint, and that's because my Saint's beat in. So this is almost like a Saint Pro, or this is long, straight with fade at the end. Easy to grip, easy to throw. A lot of people have this as their go-to driver. I just prefer to carry the Saint and the Escape because right now this Escape's pretty new and I get a little more fade out of it. Next is, this is my favorite disc in the bag. The Saint, and then this is its understable counterpart. It's a Westside disc Hatchet, and it's the tournament plastic, and I love this disc. 9-speed, has a 6 glide, so it stays in the air forever. A -2 on the turn, so I pop it up hyzer. It's understable enough to flip up flat, go straight, and pretty much end up right under the basket. If I want to throw it flat or slight anhyzer, it'll take that right-hand turn route if that's where I need it to go. Between these two discs right here, I wouldn't need anything else driver-wise, but there it is. That's the Westside Hatchet. Next is a disc I haven't thrown too much. It's a Latitude 64 Opto Fury. This disc is understable, easy to throw. If I want to go right, I just go ahead and throw this thing flat, and it'll bank right and just stay in the air. So I don't throw it a lot really, but it is in my bag. I haven't given it a chance really, but I've thrown it a few times and I like it. It's it's a 9-speed, but actually sometimes it seems a little faster. Next in my bag, love this disc. This will never leave my bag. This is a Westside disc, VIP Stag. This disc I can sidearm, I can throw backhand, straight, right, left. Another disc, like I said, I have a lot of discs that kind of are in close, similar range, but Hatchet, Stag, Saint, my 3 go-to drivers. This thing, if I want to go throw it out flat, straight, and bank to the left and end up with minimal skip. It's not a huge skip disc like the Felon, but this thing is awesome. Next I have Thief. This is a newer disc in my bag. I got rid of my tournament disc when I went all blue. This Thief is a great disc. Haven't thrown it a lot. It's an 8-speed, a little bit slower. Basically, almost like my Saint, but just a little slower and versatile. It's very versatile. Go wherever I want, and it may not stay in my bag, so I have too many close to the same. But it's in there now, so, and it flies pretty straight. And if I want to go right, like I said, I can just pop it up on a little anhyzer, and it'll just the one thing about this disc, it has great glide. It just goes. Next, it's probably second to last driver in my bag. This is the Westside disc Underworld with the skull on it. This thing is slower. It's a 7-speed and -3 turn. So basically, if I want to go right and have to stay right, this is the disc. I just throw it. I just hyzer flip it up, goes flat, banks right, and finishes right. This thing on those courses that you have right hand turn. This is the disc. This is money. So it's understable counterpart to my Saint really. Lastly, Trident. I only sidearm this thing. It is very overstable, but perfect for those short. This is a 5-speed, I think. Those short drives that I need to bank right, but I don't want to go too long straight. This thing, no matter how I throw it, if I anhyzer it, if I hyzer it on a sidearm and flip it out there, it's gonna always end up right, and that's what I want this to do. This thing's awesome. Money, love it. Okay, now we're getting into my mid ranges. So let's start with my most overstable. I throw a lot of overstable mid ranges, but Westside disc Warship. This disc will go wherever you want it to go. Perfect for upshots. You can even drive 300 feet with this if you let it go. Slight hyzer, and it'll hold that line. This thing, if you need a short distance but need to get there, and you can torque on this. You can throw it as hard as you want, and it won't turn over. Great disc. Next is very similar in flight. Truth, straight, slightly understable. Throw this on a slight hyzer to hold that route. This thing will go wherever you want it to go, and if it doesn't go there, it's because you threw it wrong. Really, that's why they call it the Truth. So Eric McCabe, his stamp on it, he loves it. It's the Dynamic Disc Truth. Another disc that's very similar to that, and I love this. I aced with this one, hole 8 in La Mesa on the Sun Valley course. This is a Latitude 64 Opto Claymore. Money. Another one of those. Okay, here's one I forgot about. That's really should be the start of my overstable when it comes to my mid ranges. This is the Westside Disc Harp. They just come out with it in the VIP plastic. This thing is super overstable. Yeah, I think even more than the numbers saying a 3 on the fade. But this thing, you throw it flat and it banks right away. It's listed as a putter. A lot of people use it as a mid-range. You throw this thing out with a slight anhyzer, pop back up straight, and it'll end up where you want right. This thing, if I need to get around a tree on a short shot, or even if I want to putt with this in the wind, this is perfect because it's overstable. Really, really, really cool disc. Lastly, when it comes to mid-ranges, this is the Westside Disc Tournament Tursus, which is a octopus on it, which I'm not really sure if that has anything to do with the disc, but this thing is awesome. This thing is understable, probably the best understable mid-range disc there is out there. This thing, you throw it flat, it goes to the right. I've chained out on this 3 or 4 times now on short, like 200-foot shots. This thing is money. It's definitely something. If you want to hyzer flip it and pop up straight, it'll fly and bank right. So it's just sometimes when you have to end up right, you throw an understable disc, you throw it flat, and it goes where you want it to go. This is definitely never coming out of my bag. Perfect. Lastly, when it comes to putters, when it comes to approach shots, 150 feet, 100 feet, or a long putt, I use the Dynamic Disc Fusion Judge. This thing is straight, fade at the end, consistent, good glide for a putter. This thing's awesome. So on my long approach putters or long putts or even jump putts outside of the circle, the Judge. Money. Lastly, this has been a new change for me. I just started throwing this. This is the Mercy, and this is in the hard. This is with the EMAC and Ralph stamp, pretty custom stamp. It's pretty cool. This thing, 40 feet and in, just it knows where the basket's at. Hits the chains. It's straight, slight fade. You don't want too much fade from a putter unless you're throwing in the wind. In California, San Diego, we get a lot of wind, so this thing just seeks the chains. I swear, I've missed less putts in the last 2 months from using this than I ever have. So I would definitely try one of these. Mercy, it's a slight, like really it's beadless, opposite of the Judge that has that little bead. This thing is a clean release out of your hand. You can throw with this. It's slightly understable. If you throw it out on a on a hyzer, it'll pop up and go flat, 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 flat. But inside the circle, 30 feet, this thing knows where the chain's at. That's pretty much my bag. Lastly, I have this cool metal Westside disc marker that my friend Ryan gave me. So this thing is, when I go to mark my discs, I have a cool blue marker. You can see I have blue, and then of course, you know, I even go through all my my backup discs and some other molds, but I have that, and maybe that's for my next in the bag. I'll show you what's really not in my bag. So thanks for listening.